Alright, welcome to the channel. It's Avery, and today I'm going to do a breakdown of my favorite thing on earth, which is racing at Eldo. If you're not familiar, Eldo is a race every Tuesday night in Long Beach at Dorado Park. It's around a 1.75 mile course, and they have races at all different levels. And the best part is that this series starts in March and goes until September. So for literally half the year, you can do crit racing every week, which is awesome. So tonight I'm doing the Pro 1 through 3 race, which is a 60-minute race. As you saw, we did a rolling start at the beginning. That's because there are multiple races out on the course at the same time. This can factor into the race as you're passing the other groups. However, tonight all the fields were pretty small, so it didn't really factor into the race very much. And speaking of small fields, I wanted to spend some time in this video talking about the challenges of riding in a small field and some of the things that I've learned to stick with it. Eldo usually starts pretty chill until all of a sudden it's not. So this is 10 minutes into the race and suddenly we're drilling over 30 miles per hour into the headwind. So this race started with between 13 and 15 people. When I was in a Cat 4, I used to look forward to the smaller fields because, just compared to the field, I was pretty strong, and the smaller field meant a higher chance for a good result. But as I moved up into Cat 3 and now racing with actual, pros, Cat 1s and Cat 2s in this race, the small fields are definitely much more challenging. Speaking of pros, here we pass Bahati and we pull up to Sharon Smith, the calf king. I thought I had big calves, and then I got this photo next to him and his totally put mine to shame. That's another cool part about Eldo. Rasan and Sharon actually own it, and they come out to race pretty much every week, so you get to race with professionals. So one of the obvious reasons that racing in a small field is more difficult than a large field is, as you can see here, there's just nowhere to hide. So in a race like this, where there's just constant attacks, you're basically single file the entire time, which means that you're really only drafting one person, and you don't have that group effect where you can get behind, several people. Speaking of attacks, no joke, this was literally like this the entire race. When I was editing this video, I was trying to cut out some of the slower, less exciting points, and it was incredibly difficult because it was just like this the entire race. So when racing in a small field, it's incredibly important to hold the wheel, because if you let a gap form, then it's going to be very challenging to regain that wheel because there's just not as many people to draft. Here Rex follows an attack and I don't follow. So now I need to decide, do I chase or do I wait for the train to come by? Now, something that happens in these more advanced fields that doesn't really happen in the lower fields is that when people are chasing an attack, they'll attack themselves. So you can see here I need to do over 900 watts to try to catch on to these guys that are chasing that initial attack. One thing you have to be careful of if you do drop back and you are one of the last people following is that if you are following somebody chasing, that they're strong enough to catch the group ahead and that you're not going to fall off the back with the other person. In this case, I'm probably the weakest person in this field, so every wheel is a good wheel to follow. So we were able to then reconnect with the attackers. Another attack goes off immediately. So I was not exaggerating that literally the entire race was like this. So moving ahead to about 45 minutes into the race, field's all together still, I'm towards the back. And Rasan has a great save here, and he doesn't even lose the wheel. Meanwhile, I drop off. I guess that's why he's a champion, and I can't even hang on to his wheel. So now I'm back into a chase group, and I thought this was kind of funny. He told me he had COVID and that his heart rate was messed up, but he was still able to pull us back. So something else about racing in a small field is that there's just really not much time to recover. So here I was towards the front of this group and then dropped back, and there's really only a second or two to rest before I have to catch back on, or else I'm going to be dropped. As we catch the field then, it's really important to move up as far as possible so that inevitably when somebody does attack, you can maximize how much time there is to rest until you absolutely have to catch on to the back again and chase. Unfortunately, my GoPro died with a couple laps left, so I couldn't record the finish, but I was really happy to make it all the way to the end of the race. So in order to do so, I had to average 253 watts, and normalized was close to 300 watts for nearly an hour, which is really a tough ride for me. So I'll close this video with the last of the footage I have from the race, which unsurprisingly is more all-out chasing. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you at the next one.